Hello everybody, I'm Jocelyn, and today I'm here to follow up about trans pride. So after I made my last video at trans pride, I spoke to a lot of people, saw a lot of things, saw a lot of people, and I really wanted to bring everybody's attention to a lot of that stuff because a lot of it is so important. So, first of all, I want to explain one thing. I got sunburned. Again. This is my third Pride in a row in a year where I got sunburned. And as you can see, it's pretty bad. It's kind of nasty. It only happened on this half as well, because this is, my costume for that day, my outfit for that day was the half and half theme. And this half kept blowing open. Now, I didn't realise it at the time, but I was getting quite burned. And this was not exactly all my fault. What happened was the weather on that day started with clouds and rain. So we didn't pack sunblock. We packed umbrellas. We did not anticipate the weather getting so nice and warm and sunny, even in Brighton, just because it was that day. So, my advice to anybody watching this is, for the love of whatever deity you may praise, be prepared for things like that, especially at these kinds of events, at this time of year. Anything like festivals, prides, you name it, just be prepared for everything. I have paid the price for the third year in a goddamn row. And yeah, it's not funny anymore. So, not exactly my fault entirely. But it still happened and I could have prevented it. The next thing I want to bring up is, you may have noticed, this wonderful little lanyard I'm wearing in the trans flag colours. And this is just one of many freebies that I managed to pick up while I was there, as well as quite a few badges. They were giving out free water as well, which was super needed. And also, I've decided to put on this lanyard this particular badge. It says, "My pronouns are they, them, theirs." I'm going to wear this all the time as a little reminder to people that yes, I am non-binary and non-binary is valid, god damn it! That little line comes from the speech givers, at the beginning of the Pride, the one who spoke just before we set off, was rallying us in a few chants. Trans men are men, trans women are women, trans rights are human rights, and they got kind of visibly flustered at, trying to remember them all, and ended up saying, "Non-binary is valid, goddammit!" And I so want to meme that, because it's brilliant. And I think it sort of describes my attitude towards non-binary perfectly. But anyway, on to some more serious stuff. Now, I picked up a lot of leaflets while I was there. The first one, the most significant one, is about Chelsea Manning. It says, "Free Chelsea Manning again and again." You may already know who this is, but if not, I will explain. Chelsea Manning is a trans woman whistleblower who exposed the war crimes of the US and other governments, along with the infamous collateral murder video, and she is back in jail. She was originally sentenced to 35 years in 2013. In 2014, she was nominated Grand Marshal of San Francisco Gay Pride. Obama commuted her sentence to 7 years, and she was set free on the 17th of May 2017 after having not served the full 7. After over 100,000 people from around the world petitioned and many took action demanding her release. Now, the US government wants revenge and to set an example. On the 8th of March 2019, Chelsea was jailed for 62 days, 28 of which were in solitary confinement, because she refused to testify against WikiLeaks in front of a secret grand jury. The WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, is now in jail in London. Meanwhile, the grand jury has issued 18 charges, which, if he is extradited to the US and found guilty, could carry a sentence of up to 175 years. After a week out of jail, Judge Anthony Trenga sent Chelsea back to jail on the 16th of May. This time he also sentenced her to pay $500 a day after 30 days and $1,000 after 60 days until she accepts to testify. And she is challenging this. Chelsea explained her refusal to testify. Nothing will convince me to testify before this or any other grand jury for that matter. This experience so far only proves my long-held belief that grand juries are simply outdated tools used by the federal government to harass and disrupt political opponents and activists in fishing expeditions. In addition to the injustice of being in jail, Chelsea still needs follow-up care following her gender confirmation surgery, not available in detention, putting her at risk of serious medical complications. Chelsea has defended us, exposing the crimes done in our name by governments and military, speaking out against police killings of people of colour and in support of migrant people, trans people and others in our communities. We must defend her. The leaflet then goes on to say what we can do, and I'm going to put as much information as I can about this in the description of this video. You can get involved with the website, write to the prosecutors, give to Chelsea's legal fund, and write to Chelsea herself. All of the details of that description. Now, the whole point of that is that she is a political prisoner, not because she is trans, but due to her trans status, she is not receiving proper medical care. And even prisoners deserve that. So that's the most important kind of cause that I found there. And, no one in their right mind could think that what she's doing is a bad thing. Exposing injustice and then getting arrested for it? How is that in any way, shape or form a fair legal system? So this next one is about sex work. It says #MakeAllWomenSafe. The UK law puts 70,000 women's lives at risk by forcing them to work alone. It's legal to be a sex worker in the UK, but illegal for them to work together. Make all women safe. Stop it being a crime to work together. Sign our petition for decriminalisation, and you can find that at makeallwomensafe.org. Basically, if somebody chooses to go into sex work, then they should have the right to be safe in that work. But as it stands, it's very unsafe, and it's also heavily discouraged because of that. We have here a public service union called Unison, which is a trade union that seeks to campaign for and have won national minimum wage, improved parental leave provisions, equality legislation, important part. Laws on reasonable working hours, minimum holiday and sickness entitlements, health and safety in the workplace, pension provision, as well as many thousands of local agreements on issues affecting particular workplaces. The ways to join Unison or get in touch with them, I will also put in the description box below. And basically they were at Pride saying, yes, we stand for trans people's rights in the workplace, which is pretty great, you know, because someone has to. This one I think is the same or similar, another trans equality union. Again, details will be below. They provide representation on discrimination, harassment, bullying in the workplace based on gender identity. They use and promote the Equality Act of 2010 to protect trans members at work. They ensure trans members are fairly treated and recognised as the gender they live and work in. They negotiate for trans equality and pensions. They support trans members by negotiating for sufficient paid medical leave when needed, which does not impact on their absence work record. They support national and regional unite lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans groups and networks. They provide 24-hour legal helpline for all members. They ensure trans equality rights are part of workplace equal opportunities agreements, and they negotiate equal rights, conditions and benefits for all of their members. So it's another trade union, basically, that also supports trans people's rights and all LGBT plus people's rights, which again, pretty great, because, you know, somebody has to. And I'm actually quite fortunate that the job that I have just got, which, you know, I'm not going to disclose any details about that, by the way. I want internet life and personal life to be separate. But the workplace that I'm at is really forward-thinking and progressive when it comes to LGBT plus and any kind of equality issues, which is, you know, comforting to know and really great, because I'm pretty sure at some point someone's going to be a dickhead, because I'm working with the public. Something's going to go down at some point. It's great to know that they actually have my back on that. This next organisation, rather interesting, because I, you know, never really thought of the concept before, but it sounds kind of obvious now that I have been introduced to it. They're called Books Beyond Bars. What they do is they are a collective of volunteers who send books, magazines and other educational materials free of charge to incarcerated LGBTQIA+ people across the UK. And you can send new and used books in good condition to Books Beyond Bars. I will give the information down below. They are trying to currently make a magazine on passing, how to help trans women effectively pass, because they have had lots of requests from trans and, you know, non-binary trans femme people on the inside who need a little bit of coaching to feel better about themselves. And again, this is kind of strange because prisoners, you think, well, prisoners, do they deserve this? Well, yeah, of course they do. Prisoners deserve some level of rights and dignity. They don't have the right to freedom, but that doesn't mean that they should have all of their rights taken away. They are still people, after all. They do have the right to proper health care, and they do have a right to make the jail system work for them, because don't you think that prison is not just about, well, I think anyway, that prison is not just about punishment, but it is also about rehabilitation for those that can, for those that need it, and for those that really do want to try. That should be available to them. This is a particularly sad story. It says, urgent, support lesbian mum from Pakistan to bring her son to safety. Ms. Mohammed is a refugee who fled to safety after her abusive husband discovered she was a lesbian. She is asking the Home Office to allow her son to join her in the UK. He is on the run and in danger of honour killing after supporting his mum and helping his sister to escape abuse. Ms. Mohammed's appeal is being heard on the 20th of August this year, so that's less than a month away now. It tells you how you can take action, all of the information. It's going to be a long description box, but the main one, of course, is to alert the Home Secretary Sajid Javid. Details are on the back of this and also here. This one, oh my god, I cannot believe I haven't talked about this sooner because I have a very close personal link with them. Mindline Trans Plus. It's a UK-wide service that offers a confidential, non-judgmental listening space for people who identify as trans, non-binary, or their friends or families just to talk to. It's a helpline, essentially. And I'm going to put all of the details of their website and their phone number in the description. They are only open Mondays and Friday nights. So it's 8 p.m. till midnight on those days. I would do more to help them if I wasn't busy on those nights. Because it's a really great, you know, it's like any helpline, it's a great thing to do. This one is very similar. It's called Mind Out. It's a support and information group. It's run by and for LGBT plus people, free instant message service, confidential, anonymous, non-judgmental, safe space to share how you feel. And this one is actually open most evenings and weekends, as well as, of course, it has the website. So any support that you might need, you can use those two services. Or any kind of assistance that you want to give, those two services would be great places to give your assistance. This one, well, it wouldn't really be Pride without Stonewall being there, would it? Now this was about trying to update the Gender Recognition Act of 2004, which, after campaigning last year and holding a survey in the most of the UK, sadly nothing's been done yet. The Gender Recognition Act has not been updated yet. It doesn't include non-binary identities. It doesn't allow for gender recognition certificates to be obtained more easily and in a less medicalised way. So Stonewall are still speaking up about this, and they could always do with support. This next one is called transwiki.net with a Z. This is an online dictionary of local and national support groups and organisations that provide a range of services for trans, non-binary and non-gender people of all ages as well as their families. Basically, it's where you can go, it's a directory to find out where support groups and organisations are that are close to you, that, you know, no matter where you are in this country, you should be able to find something there. And I'm going to try to get in contact with them and put queer alternative meetings that I do every month on there as well. This one I can't not mention. Scottish Trans Non-Binary. Now, they weren't really asking for anything other than just promoting visibility, which is always great. This leaflet has lots of useful information about non-binary people, I will maybe make a video about it in detail in the future. This video is already getting kind of long, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I do want to say that if anybody knows the Scottish trans stall, worker, volunteer, who was there at Trans Pride, who, the one who was wearing just a black leather kilt, get him to contact me, because, he's fine. Okay, final thing that I picked up. This is an updated map of all the sexual orientation and gender laws in the world for 2019. This does really nothing other than just highlight what the laws are, the legal recognitions of families and the legal barriers to the exercise of rights. All of the blue countries have some sort of protection against discrimination, and all of the red and yellow coloured countries have criminalisation of consensual same-sex acts between adults. The results aren't really very surprising. You can take a look at this map at ILGA World. The website is ilga.org. It's worth having a look at where people's rights are still being violated and where we really need to improve in the places where people do have rights. So that's pretty much everything from me, from everything that happened at Trans Pride, from everything, all of the people and all of the stalls that I visited and everything like that. But there is one more thing that I want to talk about really quickly, and that is after I left the Pride area itself. Basically, I was, with people, and we were walking through Brighton to get back to the car to take us back home. And I was encountered with a need to urinate, because I'm a human, I have bodily functions, it happens, right? However, I wasn't in a trans-friendly or an openly trans-friendly space. I mean, it was Brighton, it's still kind of the gayest city in the land, but it wasn't a trans area. It was just regular public area. And I suddenly felt the need to hide myself. I felt the need to, on the one hand I needed to pee, but on the other hand I needed to get in and out as quickly as I could, because I didn't want anyone to see me. Because, you've seen my previous video, you'll know I was dressed half and half completely, to reflect my non-binary status and to celebrate who I am and, be proud of that in Pride, at Pride, where I'm safe. And suddenly I was no longer in that safe zone. And I felt really, really scared to go in. Normally that doesn't happen to me because I'm just, presenting in femme mode, all the time. And having this, exterior, presentation that wasn't one of the binary genders, but in fact both of them on the same person, made me feel really uncomfortable. It made me feel like I didn't want to go in, despite the fact that I really needed to. And in that instant, I suddenly understood how a lot of other trans people feel when they are first out, when they are not sure if they can pass well enough to be able to avoid hassle from other people in those kinds of spaces. And really freaked me out, and you know, my friend's mum had to sort of drag me in, basically. But it was scary because it was just so, like, I was scared of other people's reactions and the ramifications, and well, if I go into a woman's toilet like I normally would, because I'm, you know, normally presenting as femme, then they're going to take issue with the male half, and if I go to a guy's toilet, then they're going to take issue with the female half, and it was a scary eye-opener, but I now understand that feeling of I need to do this thing, I need to use this facility, but I don't want to. And it's that kind of thing, that kind of fear of prejudice that causes trans people to end up giving themselves urethra tract infections because they don't pee in public when they need to. And that sort of thing needs to stop. You know, we just want to be left alone. We're not there to harass people, we're not there to scare people, we're not there to, you know, molest children or whatever the right-wing nut jobs say about us. We are there just to relieve ourselves, wash our hands, and then go. That's all we want to do. Anyway, sorry to end the video on that somber note, but like I said, it was necessary to follow up what happened at Brighton Pride because there was a lot that happened that day after I had already finished making the first video. So please enjoy this. I will see you very, very soon. And don't forget, non-binary is valid, goddammit!